So today's video is going to basically be about the boosted app in regards to the boosted rev. This video is basically going to assume that you've already paired it, so I'm not going to go through the physical process. Needless to say, it's super easy. You basically just press the power button on the scooter 5 times in a short period of time, and it basically puts it into pair mode. At that point, you just connect to it via Bluetooth. When you open up the app for the first time, it'll basically want you to go through and set up and name it, a couple other things. Once you've named it, it'll basically end you up on this page here. And on this page, you'll notice that it's got the status of the scooter as far as charge. You can see that it's plugged in and charging. You have down below that on the left, the estimated range. The estimated range is based on the current charge plus the riding mode, plus the factors you can see below. All the different options as far as like steep hills and things. As you can see, they changed the rating. The reason why I have it all to the right is essentially due to the riding style that I have, as well as my weight. A little extra weight causes the scooter battery life to be a little less impressive. That being said, it's still pretty good for what it is. You have the mode. As you can see here, the modes basically show you all the different speeds as well as your miles based upon the current charge. Since we're about half charged, you can see that we're showing right around 3 miles, 4.5, 4.9, and then 6.9. And as far as the riding modes are concerned, I'm not a big fan of the beginner and that eco mode because it seems like they have a lot less starting torque. As far as braking torque, they seem similar, but as far as the overall performance for like climbing hills and stuff, you pretty much want to leave it in expert mode. That's pretty much where I'm going to leave it. I think most people will probably leave it in expert mode. The interesting thing is that the expert mode shows that the miles per hour is set to 20. I think that may not be accurate, considering in a future video I'll show you that we've basically gotten it up to around 24 to 25 miles an hour. It just depends on how you look at the actual speed. So I'd be surprised if they probably release an update that corrects that so it shows the 24. It's also kind of surprising that they only have 3 ride modes, considering initially with the like the boosted skateboards, they have between 4 and 5 modes. For example, my Dual Plus that I have has 4 modes. It has the 3 you see here plus a mode called Pro, and the boosted 3s, they basically have a 5th mode called Hyper, and that basically gives you the extra boost of performance that you don't get from the boosted 2. So one thing to note is that the app itself is currently not reporting miles correctly. On mine, it shows that I've done 3 miles, which it's actually probably closer to 30. It seems like every mile counts as a tenth of a mile, so that is kind of disappointing if you're a person that's using it for that. However, I contacted Boosted and they claim that they're going to have an update the second week of August. So hopefully that's fixed soon. Not that it's like a deal breaker or anything. You also have the option to do a record of your ride. The cool thing about that is that it overlays a map, so you can kind of show people where you've gone, the distance you've traveled, and all the speed and stuff like that. So that's pretty cool. And then obviously just your basic profile information. But as far as like boosted settings, you'll see that they still refer to it as a board here with the update. It definitely seems like they haven't changed much in the way of the app in regards to getting it onto the scooter. It's hard to say whether or not they're going to change that, but it is what it is. You should be happy that it has an app. A lot of the cheaper skateboards and scooters, they just don't have an app. In the screen here, there's another cool feature. It shows you your battery notifications, which is kind of handy if you have it charging and you're waiting for it to charge up typical ride. It'll prompt you once it's done charging, as long as you're within range. The unfortunate thing is the range on it's pretty not great. Right now, I think the scooter's like no more than 10 feet away from me out in the hallway, and it is struggling to connect, like you saw just a few minutes ago, where it just randomly disconnected and then reconnected. So if you are planning on using it, leave it outside or something like that. The range isn't good enough for you to be able to get the details, but if it's sitting next to you in the office, then it'll probably work. And the last thing here on the home screen you have is a button that's for the light, so you can control the light from the app, which is kind of cool. So if you're changing ride modes or something like that, you can kick it on. The light itself can actually be accessed from the power button. You just double tap the power button after it's on, and it'll kick the light on. So they've kind of got most of the stuff already on the scooter. It's got a number of lights for the bar for power, so you can basically not use the app if you don't want it. But it's kind of cool in the fact that you do get notifications, you do get the choice of the ride modes, you do get to see the speeds that are available, and their corresponding ranges, which is kind of nice. But as far as range is concerned, this number is just an estimate. So I found that on average it'll say something like 6 or 7 miles with all the mode settings that I have, and I found that you'll probably be closer to probably a mile or two more. But that's all based on your weight, your size, the weather conditions, the terrain, all sorts of things. But it's pretty useful. Alrighty, that should wrap this video up. If you have any questions, go ahead and leave them down in the comments, and I will try to get back to them as quickly as I can. Thanks.